Hey, everybody. It's me, Dr. Devin Geeson, and I'm here to welcome you today backstage. Today, I have the distinct pleasure to host a friend and a fellow brother in backstage. And Cory Roletto is the owner and founder of WEO Media. And I'm so happy to have you here today. Cory, how are you?
I'm doing great, Devin. I really appreciate you spending some time with me today.
I know. And the cool thing about today is it's not just me and you spending time together, but this is the opportunity for the world to get to know who Cory is, what makes him tick, and why he started his business and why he might be perfect for them if they need the things that Cory does, right? The things that WEO Media does. And I think that the first question should be, just laid back. What got you acquainted with Backstage?
Oh, goodness. Backstage, didn't really know a whole lot about it, but I ended up meeting Elijah Desmond at a WIN DSO event, Women in DSO event here, gosh, over a year ago. And conversations started from there. Met a lot of the people that were part of Backstage. Didn't realize at the time, but I was being interviewed to be a member, which was kind of fun to find out after the fact. But I think the connection that just is between all of the members of Backstage, looking to, having high integrity, have an abundance mindset, looking to have fun and really grow your business is what we all have in common. And I think that's what really drew me to Backstage. And hopefully that's what Desmond and the rest of the Backstage crew saw in me.
I think that's exactly what they saw in you and what I see in you every time I have an opportunity to spend a little time with you. So now I'm just excited for everybody else to have the opportunity. So before we jump in, what would you say it is that you do every day in your own words?
So what I do as the CEO of Wheel Media is really focusing on the business partnerships and sales side, marketing side of the business itself. However, I used to run operations for the company for over a decade. So not only am I intimate and really involved in the sales and marketing side, but I understand all the services that we deliver to the nth degree. I've had every position in the company except for software developer and probably graphic designer because no one wants me to designing their logo or their website.
Stick figures?
Yes, but everything else I've been an intimate part of and often get, questions, back from the rest of the team when we're looking to head in a direction or another. So it's fun knowing all the parts of the company, helping to build that company over the last 16 years
Hmm.
and now kind of leading it to the next stages.
I happen to know that WEO Media stands for something pretty special. And it's actually one of the things that I love about your business. Will you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is a kind of a secret, not a secret, and most people you'd never figure it out on your own. But if you take WEO Media, WEO Media, the first two letters we stands for we, the O stands for over, and then the first two letters of media, ME, stands for me. So we over me. We can do better as a team. We can do better as partnering with our clients. We can do better as a overall we than we can by ourselves. So that's the foundation of WEO Media and where we strive to be and work with our clients on a daily basis.
I love that so much. And it's a true testament into, the heart of your business. Um, when was it, Cory, that you saw the specific need in dentistry that you knew that you had the opportunity to fill?
It was actually, I have a background in high tech, engineering background, got an MBA while working for Intel, and then left Intel to start a consulting business with a business partner that helped me ramp up Wheel Media, one of the business partners. And during that consulting, we worked with 30 different companies and 20 plus different industries. And one of the companies had the ability to work with was a dental office and was actually approached by a relative who worked there and said, "Hey, I think we need some help. We're not growing. And she was a little bit scared of maybe losing her job. She was a dental assistant. And through that relationship, made the acquaintance of the doctor and started implementing some marketing programs for them at pretty low cost. And I was interested in just learning the dental industry. So, coming in through a family member, I did some pro bono work there. But I think we had a pretty good impact. And that impact on the office, even with low budgets back in the day, was significant and kind of opened up my eyes to the opportunity in dentistry. So when we exited consulting and started focusing on Wheel Media as a marketing company, dentistry is always in the back of my mind. I kind of knew that we wanted to pursue a vertical, and all the roads tended to lead to dentistry along the way. It was our, first clients we were signing up. It's our first partnerships. And so that was the first glimpse, and I knew I needed to have that as part of the mix, and it ended up being where we have focused for 16 plus years.
So when you made that jump into the dental, industry, you had the friend who was working and she was like, gosh, I don't want to lose my job. There had to be some emotions tied to that for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You always want to hand out, help friends and family as much as you can. And I just kind of went into it as kind of like the mentality that, established Wheel Media is that, we can figure this out. And, if we work together as a team to move the company in the right direction, in this case, a dental office, that in the end, the results is going to be good for everybody.
And I'm guessing she didn't lose her job and they probably had to hire more people to manage all the patient flow that was coming their way.
Yeah, so didn't lose her job. The doctor had a lot of stress relief from the daily financials,
Mhm.
and they ended up eventually exiting the practice and the sale of the practice. Yep.
That's amazing. And what did that experience teach you or leave, in impacted on you about what the dental industry really needs?
Yeah, it's really changed over time, Devin. I think back when we started Wheel Media, uh, websites were way different than they are now, as we all
If they
know.
had a website,
If
right?
they had a website, we found about 30% or more of dentists and businesses in general didn't even have a website. And so, starting from websites and electronic newsletters and, kind of pioneering SEO in dentistry where, that wasn't even a job function back at the time, to rolling into social media and video and practice management software integrations and attributing the marketing we're doing to patient flow, revenue, and ROI. The industry and the capabilities, and really what a marketing company can deliver, has dramatically shifted. And I think that's one area that has been our strength, is always innovating, kind of having that engineering mindset. How do we do things better? The partnering up with a lot of our offices who are open to sharing their data and having good dialogue has really led the direction of the company.
In looking back over your journey and how this all materialized, is there a part of you that sees, your journey mirroring or paralleling the dentists that you serve?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I mean, their success is our success, is what, one of our internal sayings, right? Is if the dentist is successful, the office is successful, then we're successful. And so, we feel the pain when the dental office is not where they want to be,
Hmm.
right? We feel that struggle. We also feel that struggle if in times we aren't able to figure the right solution out right away, right? But when we do figure it out and it has the impact that we've had for, over 1,000 dental offices over the years, we feel that success too. And I think the just paramount, a little bit of pride. I know that might be a little bit of a deadly sin in there, but we have a lot of pride in what we do. And it's why our team sticks around. I mean, they feel that success and the impact that we're having on dental offices. And so we have a solid team. A lot of them have been, with us from near the beginning.
And I love what you said about how things changed for him, mentally and in the space of owning the practice after, leads came in and there was less of a stressor, financially each and every day. I mean,
Mhm.
it's easy to see how attractive that might be.
Oh, absolutely. There's a saying that says sales solves problems, and really what that is improved revenue, improved profitability
Mhm.
allows you to have more discretionary money,
Yes.
right? And when you have discretion with your dollars, it allows you to make choices. Do I want to spend that on making memories with my family, going on a vacation? Do
Yeah.
I want to put that back into the business to try to multiply the success, right? We're all looking essentially for financial freedom is what it comes down to so that we can do what we want to do. It's not that, Devin, I know you've been very successful in what you've done. You probably don't need to work. I don't know if you do or don't, but you probably don't, is my guess. But you
Me
choose
too, but I
to.
like it.
Right. You choose to, right? So you choose to continue to have an impact, right? And I think that's where most people are for the majority of their lives is they're wanting to have an impact. They want to feel that they're successful and they want to be able to have some freedom financially to do the things they want to do. Doesn't mean we don't want to work, doesn't mean we don't want to try
Yeah,
to continue to improve things. I think a lot of that is just within ourselves is who we are. And that's not going to change because you made a little bit of money, right? Or you have your financial freedom, right? Hopefully, we maintain the central core and the heart of ourselves along the way.
for sure. Now, that being said, what do you think the biggest misconceptions might be that people have when they start to think about, getting a new marketing company?
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception is that all marketing companies are the same. I hear that a lot.
Yes.
Um, I think in this digital age, it's you can see what other people are doing and how they're promoting themselves. And since it's all out online, it's very easy to make a commercial, an ad, or something that looks and sounds similar. The fact is that there's big differences in marketing companies. And the ones that have been around for a while and that have continued to innovate are the ones, and those established companies like ours are the ones that have the wherewithal to produce results over time and make an impact. It's very enticing to move to someone who looks like has a magic bullet or can solve that problem. But if they've only been around for a while and they're offering free stuff or, we only get paid when you get paid, it's enticing because it reduces the apparent risk
For sure.
because you may not be paying for something up front, but you're forgetting about the most important commodity that we all struggle with, and that's time. You don't have time to waste on stuff that doesn't work.
Ooh,
So it's not just about paying for a service or not paying for a service or how that equates down the road. If you waste 6 months to a year on services that don't work, what's the real cost? It's a year of your growth of your company,
yeah.
right? So when you're choosing a marketing company, there's, I know a lot of the CEOs, or at least talk to a lot of the CEOs of our competitors. The number of competitors actually grown. We did this analysis after the pandemic, and there's about 50, marketing companies that focused on dental. We did this analysis a little bit earlier this year, and there's 450 now, right? So the competition has ballooned, but it also means that most of their companies are new, trying to figure things out. Maybe doing one piece of marketing as opposed to a more holistic approach and a full solution that's going to stand the test of time. And so, really understanding the companies that can really have an impact is, paramount. And I will often say I know a lot of the bigger players, and there's probably a handful, half a dozen of us that I think do a really good job. And the others are hit and miss. You can kind of tell when they have a really onerous contract that they always try to defend till the bitter end, even if they're not producing results, right? Those companies quickly get a bad reputation. And then I've seen it where several of them will just change their name and do the whole thing all over again,
Oh my gosh.
right? So I think one of the biggest indicators is how long you've been around. Because then if you've been around for a long time delivering results, I mean, that is an indicator of what you can expect in the future.
For sure. And what do you think might be the greatest surprise that a dentist gets when they start working with you?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest surprises is that we try to be upfront and straight with expectations about how long things will take. The adage of, don't overpromise and underdeliver. You need to underpromise and overdeliver.
Yes.
And I think this is where we don't bring on the volume of new clients that we could because we're not telling fanciful stories of all the money you're going to make. We are very realistic in what marketing budgets mean and what they're going to be put forth to and how we're going to implement and the timing that it takes to do things. And that's not a lot of what you hear. You hear a lot of the, get patients in 30 days type
500
messaging,
patients tomorrow.
right? We're going to ramp you to 15 full arches in 30 days, right?
My favorite.
So I think that is the biggest thing is we tend to deliver what we're talking to, and we try to over deliver on the results that we're talking to. So you're not going to see me going out there promising, 10x returns on your marketing dollar because I don't know what your situation is. I don't know what your goals are. I don't know what your budget is. I may not know the specifics of your localized market. But when we get in a conversation and we analyze the competition, we talk about your goals, your potential capacity to see new patients or a certain type of patient in your office, then we can formulate a plan that works within, you know, the budget and
Yeah,
can deliver results.
love it. Now, if a dentist was on the fence today and he said, I don't know. I don't know if I should work with you or not. What would be the thing that you shared with him or her about, why choose Leo?
Hmm. Yeah, well, kind of touched on this a little bit, but a long-standing record of results.
Mhm.
The willingness to work with the office as much as they want to work with us. I love it when offices are involved in their marketing and are sharing information. We're having able to have good strategic discussions, whether that's with me or with members of the team, because then it indicates you're wanting to participate in the success of your own practice. If your thought is, I'm going to pay someone money and I'm going to make a determination on the results within a month or two, but I'm not going to be, communicating or not going to be working in the same direction, and that my practice is perfect, well, then you're probably not a good fit for us,
Right.
right? Um, we want people that can recognize that, hey, my operations may need some improvement. I may not be answering the number of phone calls I think I am,
Yes.
right? When gaps are identified, on the office side, we want a dental office that's willing to work with us to close those gaps and improve what they're doing because that makes everything more effective. Not only marketing, be able to close leads on potential new patients, but it's going to also impact how many referrals they get. It's going to impact maybe if they're in a good location, walk-ins off the street, and whether they decide to choose them. It's going to impact the people that find you through other means, right? Everything gets better if the internals of the office improve. When we find big gaps, is the office willing to work with a consultant, right?
Hmm.
If I refer someone else out to the wonderful consultants within Backstage, like yourself, right? Is that a conversation they're willing to have when we identify things that, from a marketing perspective, you need to work on in the office? And I don't have the expertise within my team to train you on whatever that issue is, right?
Sure.
So I think it's more of, we're looking for offices that want to partner up and assist in their own growth. What's the God helps them who help themselves,
That's right. That's
right?
right.
So if you're not willing to also put in the effort, then you shouldn't expect miracle results.
Well, I love that. It sounds like you're able to help them measure their success so readily. I'm guessing through dashboards and,
Mhm.
tracking the leads that are coming in and whether they're converting appropriately, and help
Mhm.
them really determine, where the leaks in their systems might be. And, that being said, do you potentially measure success differently now since being involved with Backstage? Or is that something that is ever changing for you?
Yeah, I think one, it's always evolving, right? Because the industry is always evolving. Just a few years ago, no one, in the DSO space, no one was really talking about or focused on same store growth. It was all about how do we add the next practice, right?
Mm,
That conversation with increasing interest rates and banks being a little more cautious on their debt to earnings ratios in lending has really came back full circle. Hey, we might want to focus a lot of our time on same store growth and improving
mhm.
profitability and our EBITDA within individual practices, because then we can go get that next round of financing. We have more cash on hand to determine what do we want to put that toward growth? Do we want to put that toward other systems, right? Do we want to bonus out our people? Like, is that
Right.
discretionary money when you're making good profits that you're able to determine what direction you want to go? So the conversation is constantly changing, and therefore we need to adapt to what those conversations are. And having those conversations with whether it be individual practice owners that are just looking to do better at their practice, emerging DSOs that are really, still doctor owned and looking to maybe get out of the chair and run their business so they can add that fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh practice. A bit larger DSOs, the emerging DSOs that are not quite to the point where they're seriously looking at, taking on investment. They're still growing organically,
Mhm.
or larger. They all have a different goal, right?
Yes.
In the end, it all boils down to how do I have a successful business and what that means to whoever the owners are. But everybody has a different goal, and there may be different methods to get there. And so, adjusting what we can do to assist with making life easier
Mm,
for the offices is what we want to do. Back in the day, it was real basic metrics. It was, did I drive traffic to your website? What are you ranking? Right. And today it's, well, from that tracking number, from that piece of marketing that we did, how many leads did we get? How many leads converted to new patients? What procedures did they get? What procedures do they have scheduled? What's the financial impact on the office? And in the end, how did that affect the net profitability and EBITDA of the practice? Right. So the metrics for success from a marketing company's perspective, a lot of that has shifted from the office being focused on these things to, the expectation that the marketing company delivers on it. So it's super digestible for the owners, right? To that, we're actually working with some of our partners to formulate what they want with customized reporting.
mm,
With a lot of DSOs, there's more than one person who's looking at the reports that we're generating, and they want to know different information. So the CEO might want to know something different from the COO, from the CFO, from the marketing directors who's expected to know everything, right?
yeah.
And be able to interpret all the data. So, does that mean we need a report for each one of the people in the C-suite?
Mm.
Well, it might depend on what each one cares about. Maybe we can consolidate into a report, or maybe it's just the order something shows up in a report, or maybe we need to have different tabs, one for each C-level person and the marketing director, so they can quickly find the information they're looking for. So this comes down to personalizing a lot of the work, and not getting stuck into a cookie cutter
Well,
where,
I love that you said personalizing and customization and all of those things because, where the world is going is AI and, kind of
Mhm.
automation. And how do you see that changing everything that you do in the next 5 years?
I think everybody knows AI is already changing the world, and we've only seen the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the impact, right? So I think the offices see this because they're being inundated with the options of bringing AI into the office, from AI receptionists, AI treatment coordinators, automated, appointment booking, to in the back side, you get, AI analysts of radiographs, right? And AI analysis of how do you perform this complicated uh, set of surgeries on a person because they need more than one dental implant, and there's some complications that may come from it, right? The impact of AI comes down to increased efficiency and increased productivity is what it comes down to. Um, that could be in the fact of answering all your phone calls and setting up more appointments, to getting better treatment acceptance because the AI just pointed out a cavity that the patient doesn't believe that they actually have because they haven't felt pain yet, right? So the impact in the office is pretty substantial and is going to continue to be even more impactful as the technologies mature. From
Mm,
a marketing company perspective, the impact is pretty significant too. From the efficiency side on what we're able to do around writing and design and everything else. But I also see the industry changing on that side too, to becoming less of a marketing company focus or marketing agency focus to providing a marketing platform.
mm.
And that platform provides a lot of the capabilities for the offices. And within that platform, they may choose to take some of that responsibility on their self, maybe to reduce costs, or if they think they want to be involved to whatever degree they want to be involved to a marketing company like Leo Media, doing that work for them. I don't see it as an all or nothing thing where I'm trusting that the marketing company is going to do all the things.
Yeah.
It's becoming rapidly more transparent on the impact, just from a reporting aspect. I think that AI is going to be able to assist in a lot of what we do to make what we do more efficient, more impactful, and hopefully lower costs,
Mm.
relative costs of the office over time.
Dennis
I
won't hate
see
that.
that, yeah, I see that, even the impact of the websites, that in the future, based off of user behavior, that the content of the website may form dynamically. What are you interested in? What can I present to you based off of what I think you're interested in? So uh, there's going to be a lot of impact, and a lot of this is just kind of, forward guessing into the future, right? And that's the best we can all do because we don't have that perfect crystal ball. And there's a lot of innovation that's going to happen that none of us foresee as well. So, like I said, I think we're on the precipice.
Mm.
We haven't seen but the tip of the iceberg. And the one thing that I can be assured of is that the impact is going to happen rapidly, and it's going to be significant.
Mm.
I don't think there's been another technology out there where you say, hey, we're going to have flying cars in 20 years, and they actually were delivered in 20 years. We still don't have flying cars. I mean,
Right.
but when we talk about AI and we say, hey, we think we're going to have AI receptionists here, and it's might be able to assist the front office in the next 5 years, and then it comes in one. I mean, I don't think I've seen a transition of that magnitude happen so quickly. And to think that AI just really hit the mainstream when OpenAI AI made their big announcement, what, the beginning of 2023?
Yeah.
It's only been 2.5 years. And look at the change that's already happened.
It's
right?
crazy. It's an exciting time though
Oh yeah, very
for
exciting.
dentistry and for all of us and for backstage.
Yeah, it can be scary and it can
Mhm.
be overwhelming. I don't think
It,
any of us are used to the pace of change that's happening right now and the pace of innovation, right? It's very tough to keep up.
I
And that's
remember
why
you telling me that. I
yes,
remember you saying that you spend so much of your time, you know, nerding out, for lack of a better way to say it, like on
yes,
all the things that are coming out because you have to be the forefront of that so
that's
that
right.
you can offer it to your clients.
Yeah, I think the my change in mentality was it's okay to lead on some stuff and be a fast follower on others, right?
Mhm.
Now, if your goal is to be a fast follower, you're left in the dust. So you have to be looking at what is the cutting edge and predicting where that's going and looking to implement that now with the thought that that may be just enough to keep up with my competition,
Yeah.
right? It's like because that's the pace that things are happening.
Yeah.
You know, even I mentioned earlier the number of marketing companies now versus even 5 years ago, and there's a lot less when we got started that were focused on dental. Um, a lot of that has happened due to AI lowering the barriers of entry, right? The stuff that we had to build internally ourselves over the last decade plus, now it's part of some platform out there,
Mm.
or you can use AI to replicate what we built up over the last decade pretty quickly, right? So I'm excited from that standpoint because when I see people innovating that fast and maybe closing the gap in some areas, I go, wow, I got a whole dev team behind me that, lives and breathes AI every day. As much as they might catch up in some areas, they don't realize it, but they're already left in the dust in others.
So, Cory, I know that WEO Media is already, in a position to leave this amazing legacy behind, to provide ripples that carry into, dentistry for years to come. But aside from that, what is your bigger than business mission?
That's a great question, Devin. Don't get asked that question very often.
I just know a few things that I know you might be, tossing into the ring on that one.
Yeah, for me, just to answer the legacy part, I think a lot of people enter business looking to, like PE firms, they enter business and how quickly can I grow it and sell it and have that financial freedom. For me, it's a little bit different. It's actually a legacy. I just literally had this conversation this week. What do you want to do for your business long term? And I go, well, it'd be nice to sell in 3 to 5 years if that was what the goal is, but I would be happy too if I could pass the torch along to my current team or someone else that really wants to take the business to the next level, right?
Mm,
It's not about just putting a bunch of money in the bank, right? This is about having impact in the long term. To that end, I do a lot of stuff outside of the business in
mm.
regards to being on the board of Northwest Kidney Kids for 15 years now. They're we're kind of making a transition as I've been a little bit long in the tooth on the board, but I think it's been helpful from just the business acumen and how to run a charity more like a business. Um, but I really got into the impact that charities can have when my own son had some medical problems when he was younger. And even though that was very difficult for me, his mom, his brothers that came along a little bit later because he's our oldest son, even though that was very difficult, one of the things I realized, a very specific story, is we're at Dornbecker Children's Hospital and we decided that, and he's there for his birthday. So we decided to get a piñata for him to break on his birthday while at the hospital. So we took it out to the courtyard. Sorry, a
I
tough time
know.
getting through this, Devin. We took that piñata, hung it out in the courtyard, and there was other kids there. And this one young kid was in a wheelchair, and I don't remember specifically, but I think he might have had like got E. coli poisoning or infection back in the day. And he wasn't able to function normally physically. And he's stuck in a wheelchair. And I could see the excitement on his face. And so we offered to let him take some swings of the pinata. And he can barely hold the pinata stick in his hand. I mean, his wrist is barely able to hold up the weight. And so we help him swing, and the way his eyes lit up was amazing. And it just hit me right then. It's like as much problems and issues that my son had. And we've been blessed with a, kidney transplant that he's been being able to live a full life. This other kid isn't going to have that same opportunity. And there's always someone that has it worse. All you can do is play the cards that you're dealt and do the best you can. And one of those things in being the best you can as a person, as a human being, is to help others along the way that are worse off than you are. And so that's been kind of a side mission of mine for a long time. And I'm sorry you hit
No,
me close.
I
You
was
hit me
hoping
close to
to
my heart
share.
on that one, Devin. And
Well,
I'm
I wanted
sorry, I'm
people to
struggling.
see you the way that I've had an opportunity to see you. And I can tell you that when making decisions about who to work with and who to stand with in life and in business, it makes a difference what makes a difference to them. And I think it's beautiful how instrumental you want to be in the lives of others, and that's something that is very close to my own heart. And so I was excited. I threw him under the bus a little bit, guys, but I wanted you to see who this man is, because if you were on the fence for 1 second about working with him, knowing that these are the kinds of missions he has outside of business, I just think, check, my decision would be made. And I'm really happy that you were comfortable enough to share some of that with us.
I wasn't not expecting to share any of that with you today, Devin, but somehow you brought it out of me. Yeah, but I think it extends to just, like you're saying, general philosophy, right? Um, Not only want to taking care, we all want to take care of our family and friends and do the best we can, but it extends into, the effort that me and my business partners have put into the team at Wheel Media, making sure that we're taking care of them as best we can so they can take care of our clients as best they can,
Right.
right? It's uh, all impactful and a lot of times in ways that you will never know.
I completely agree. And I remember the time when there used to be arguments, even on social media about, who's the most important person in the practice. And some people
Mhm.
would say, well, the dentist, and others would say the patients. And I would always say the team, because if the team are cared for and taken care of, I really believed that the best that they could offer would be taking care of those patients. And so I completely resonate with you and align with you on that belief. So as we come to a close, Cory, I'm so excited that people had an opportunity today to hear about your business, about all of the things that are coming down the pipeline, but also a lot about who you are as a person. And if somebody's ready to, spend some time with you, how do they contact you?
Oh, yeah. I give out my business cards and my personal information a lot. Maybe not in this podcast, but uh, best way you can go to our website, weomedia.com, weomedia.com. From there, you can grab our phone number. You can fill out a form to request more information, maybe sign up with one of our practice acceleration consultants. That's probably the best way. If not on there, you can always look me up on LinkedIn. I'm decently active depending on how much traveling I'm doing at the time on LinkedIn. I always try to respond to people's comments, engage in conversation there. LinkedIn profile is just Cory Roletto, hopefully, as you see on the screen right there. And outside of LinkedIn, social media is good. and we have people monitoring that as well. So plenty of opportunity to reach out. I also do a lot of speaking across the country, and so look for me at doing lectures and presentations at dental societies, study clubs, bigger events. I'm actually going to be at Yankee as part of the Dentistry's Got Talent here in February. So that should be fun, and was honored to be one of the nominees for Speaker of the Year this last year. So
That's
hopefully I
amazing.
can deliver some good educational information to where you can help yourself grow your practice.
I definitely know that you will. And what I also know is that the core tenets of Backstage are kindness, abundance, and fun. And I can tell you that having spent time with Cory, he is the epitome of all of those things. But the other part of Backstage that I really believe is our DNA is the heart. And I hope that today I've outlined to you where the heart of Cory Roletto and WEO Media is. And that being said, we're happy that you were here with us today on the podcast. And, just remember that if you are a dental entrepreneur or a dentist looking for services, Backstage has your back. We're happy that you were here. Have a great day. Thanks, Cory.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you, everybody.